in the description of the podcast. Love to chat with you, whether you're a Coach's Edge Coach member or not. So yeah.
All right, yeah. So my turn to ask you a question. And first of all, how many? I know you usually have a number. How many campers did you have this summer, Coach?
917.
Oh, dang, right? He knew it. He was ready. 917. That's awesome.
917. And so I always say we're at about 1,000 every summer. We would have been over 1,000 this summer easily. I took some days off as we were talking about before we recorded. And if we would have booked camps every single day, we'd have been well over 1,000 kids that we've seen this summer from primarily high school and middle school players. And I think we did a couple more elementary level camps than usual this summer as well.
All right, we'll call it 1,000 because that's a great number to work with. So you worked with
Yeah,
1,000 players this
sounds better.
summer. And based on those 1,000 players, what is one skill you believe at the high school level coaches can teach that would have like a major impact on their team? So one skill that would have a major impact on their team, and then one intangible. And then how would you, putting your high school head coaching hat on, how would you go about teaching each of those, that skill and that intangible?
You're probably going to hate my answer to this question. Listen, I think I've told a handful of people that how long you been doing this? How long you been running camps? I was like 2008, I ran my first basketball camp where it was like my basketball camp. I wasn't helping out. So I'm getting close to 20 years of running basketball camps. And if you add helping and being an assistant coach somewhere else, we're over 20, right? So people talk about the 10,000 hours. I've put in 20,000 hours, right? I put in the time. There's some things that we've seen over the years. Generally speaking, kids are more out of shape than they were 20 years ago, in my opinion. Right. Now, you being in the school, I mean, you're a little younger than I am, but you can probably relate to some of that. Um, I think kids are soft, not all of them, but I think there's a lot of kids that are soft. I think this comes back to parents. I think parents, you need to be like just be a little more honest and realistic with your kids about life in general. I'm not saying that you should be, beating them up or anything like that. Verbally, of course. Of course, we're not talking about physical either. Um, that goes without saying, but I feel like it needs to be said. People take it out of context. We do have people that listen to the show, so uh, the just the get after itness. If that goes up, you'll be a better team. You'll be a better player. And I did a YouTube video earlier this summer about the difference between being good and being great at the high school level is dramatic. And I feel like this goes back to, I think, parenting and maybe, I don't know, from the education standpoint. I just think that, like I go to my kid's school and they do the honor roll. And I'm like, every kid got on the honor roll. Well, is it an honor roll anymore if every kid makes the honor roll? Like to me, I have an issue with that. Like it's the it's the everybody gets a trophy thing. And that drives me nuts, right? So we need to be honest with our players and at the same time make sure that they understand we are on their side. I want you to be successful. I am in this for you. I have your back. I want what is best for you. At the same time, you may hear some things from me as your basketball coach that you're not hearing from anywhere else, right? And I've had this conversation with different coaches and one of my mentors this summer about halfway through, and he was like, "Steve, if you feel like you have to say certain things to, a high school varsity basketball team," he's like, "What you said to them, nobody else in their life is probably saying to them. So you may feel bad because you felt like you had to come down on some kids as far as like work ethic, body language, communication to one another, like how they're talking to each other, just like negative stuff like that. But if you don't say it to them, you're you don't care about them. Like if I don't have a standard and an accountability for how you should behave and interact, and then if I do have one and I don't care to bring it up to you, if I think there's something that needs to be corrected, I really don't care about you. I'm just saying, hey, thanks for coming to camp. Thank you for paying your $50 or whatever it was. Whether I'm here coaching you up and trying to hold you accountable for these 3 hours or not, I'm still getting paid the same, right? That would be not caring. And so as I go through some of these skills, and much of these are intangibles, I'll talk a little bit about the skill. I think those are some of the intangible things of like, can we be more honest with our players while making sure that they understand we're still on their team, we're still on their side? I can be a little confrontational, and I like a little confrontation. Like I like going into the gym, whether it was me at practice against my own teammates, obviously against the opponent. Right now, a little bit as a basketball coach, I like a little like uncomfortableness in the gym, right? I like it. That's how I grew up as a high school basketball player. Like I know my coach wanted us to win. We certainly wanted to win, but there was a little bit of like an edge at our practices. But I know at the end of the day, he wants to win. I want to win. Like, let's do it. Right. And I had other coaches, overseas and stuff that were kind of the same way. It's a little bit of how I carry myself. Not everybody's going to love that, but if those players understand you want the same thing that they want, it can work. And I think it can be even more powerful than the other way around, which is me kind of letting you slide a little bit with effort or simple accountability, right? Meaning attention to detail. If we're working on a specific type of footwork finish that I know is going to help you get better, and half the reps you do correctly, half of them you don't, and I don't say anything, right? I'm not helping you out. I'm not. I'm hurting you, right? So for us to be able to let players know, like, I care about you, I want to help you, but I got a standard that at this point is higher than your standard. And we're going to raise your standard. So, like you talked about with the players running the drills earlier, now they can take that and bring it up. Right. And I've literally have multiple conversations and stories I've had with coaches, parents, and players about the specific conversation that we're having right now. This could be the entire episode, is like just this accountability, effort, attention to detail that needs to get better. So going back to my point of, if a high school player wants to play more minutes, they want to be good, it's quite simple to do. If you want more minutes for your team, simply ask yourself, what does my coach need? And ask them if you don't know. Chances are they're going to want unbelievable effort and communication on defense, combined with someone who actually knows what the heck kind of defense we're playing, right? Am I forcing middle? Am I forcing baseline? What are the details that Coach Tro wants me to run? If I can bring that on every possession, I will play. If I can combine that with only taking the right shots and not dribbling too much, I will play. Now, if I can combine those things offensively and defensively, I'm not only going to play, I'm probably going to be one of the top 5 guys on my team. On my team, just with that. This isn't shooting 20,000 shots during the summer. This isn't doing a 50-day challenge. This isn't playing basketball as my only sport. This is literally, I could be playing 3, 4 multi-sports. I could pick up a basketball and this is what we want, but I could pick up a basketball the first day of practice and not touch it again once the season finishes. And for a lot of teams, I could still be a valuable piece to my team if I understand what the coaches want. I'm super dependable on the defensive side of the ball with my energy, my effort, and understanding the game plan. And offensively, I'm dependable by not taking bad shots and not turning the ball over. Do I have a good skill? Nope. as far as dribbling, passing, shooting. I don't have any of those good skills, Coach Tro. Guess what? I'm still going to be the fifth or sixth best player on my team. Chances are. So here's the thing. I don't think we communicate that to our players. Like I really don't. Like we talk about, and I travel around, and we're working on finishing. We're working on, and are these difference makers for your team? 100%. But if you're the kid on the team who's like, I'm coming to camp because this is part of our June schedule. They got Coach Kramer basketball, blah blah blah, coming in, and we're doing this. Cool. And you're getting better during those 2 days. Probably not going to touch a ball a ton in the fall or whatever it is. But if you can learn, right, from jumping into your program and what they're doing, and then have the maturity, right, the humility and the maturity, right, to be able to take what the coach wants and simply implement that in your game and not do the other stuff, you will be a valuable piece to your team. Is that going to make you the best player on your team? Is that going to make you the leading scorer on your team? No. But you're going to have I think, a pretty good baseline experience, right? For those players that are like, I'm not going to play college basketball. I don't love basketball in general. It's my second favorite sport, but you're going to be playing and you're going to be an important piece to your team. That is an intangible. That is a skill. I'll round this out by saying girls basketball, I'm on the same boat as I was last year at this time, probably even more so with some of the youth girls basketball stuff I was coaching as well. I think ball handling is the number one skill for girls. I was talking to a friend of mine in Toledo. He's coached high school EYBL. He's coached at Whitmer, which is one of the biggest schools, boys in the state in Ohio. He played basketball at Ferris. Shout out to Coach Billingsley. He's the man. Um, he's a heck of a player at Ferris State. But anyway, he's got a daughter that he coaches now, and we were texting yesterday saying the same thing. He's like the ability to like handle the ball against pressure and to be able to apply pressure on the defensive end and the girl side is huge, huge, huge. For the boys, I think it's a little bit different. I think shooting as offensive skill is big, but um, the one thing that I would say individually on the boy side is defense. Like there's another level that I see when I'm traveling around for camps where it's like, yeah, that defense is passable. It's solid. Maybe most coaches aren't going to say it because it's good enough to have some success, but there's another level we can go with effort, communication, and the big one is just alertness. There's got to be a better word for it than alertness, but you can play defense and kind of be checking the boxes, but there's another level where as a defense player, you are alert and you are seeing the ball and the five players offensively moving in your defense, and you're seeing, right, this amorphous inanimate object moving, and you are alert to your environment. That's a level that I rarely see when I'm traveling around, but I've seen it at times, and that is a skill that can skyrocket. And I'm not saying you're going to have 12 players doing it. I'm not saying you're going to have five. If you would, you're going to be a phenomenal team. But to even have one or two players on your team like that, you will have it. When I was coaching in Perrysburg, we had a kid named Trevor. He was the MVP of the NLL. He went on to have a heck of a college baseball career. He was that guy. He was 6'1", athletic, but not super athletic, quick, but not super quick, strong enough, but not strong. And he averaged like almost 5 steals a game in the Northern Lakes League, which is stupid competition, right? Really good level because of he was checking all those boxes to the 10 level on the defensive side of the ball. So um, a lot of this is accountability. And as coaches, you have to look yourself in a mirror from the defensive side of the ball. And so as I'm saying individual defense, and I'm getting general with like the effort, the communication, and the alertness, right? If I put them in those three categories. Um, but you need to be able to look at those three categories and define it for yourself and say, what does this actually look like? When I say, hey, we need to run down the court faster, what's something that's more tangible for that player to understand? Like the Brian Morehouse at Hope College talks about you need to win the first three steps, right? That's his thing. Like the first three steps, boom. Like, and then we can watch it on film. Are you digging like a drive phase and a sprint on the first three steps or not? Easily to see. Uh, do you cross half court first compared to your matchup? That's easy for us to be able to see, right? And so taking those things that are somewhat general and be able to get specific so now we can have accountability, that's where you take your players. But I don't think most coaches have thought about it in that detail to be able to actually share it with your players. Because if I just keep coming in every day and say, hey, we got to work harder, we got to work harder, I'm going to tune you out in like 5 minutes and it's over. You got to show me what hard work looks like. You got to clarify what working hard looks like, right? And then you have to hold me accountable to what working hard looks like. Now, dang it. Now we're going somewhere. All right? Okay. Break. I'm going to get another coffee.
All right.